Okay, hello there. I'm going to show you how to do the seersucker stitch. Now this is a quite old knitting stitch. A number of people have done it, and so far it hasn't been converted to the loom anywhere, so I am going to do that for you. And so this is just a stitch video. I'm not going to show you how to do everything, but I certainly will give you some guidelines. So what you want to do is you want to do a cast on. I just did the chain crochet cast on that is on my YouTube, so you can find it there, or do any cast on you like. And then I just did a row of purls, since there's knits and purls in here, so that I end up back at the side I'm going to start with. That will be side one. If you knit the other way, you could have your side one there and then your side two coming there, but we knit both ways, so you might want to do it the same as me so that you don't get confused. Now it is 8 rows, so what I'm doing to keep track is when I do row 1, my stitch markers here, row 2 I move it here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to there, and then I know. And it's an 8 row repeat, but you work in sets of 4. So you want sets of 4, so 4, 8, 12, that way, plus 1. So if you were doing 12 pegs and you added 1, you'd have 13. So that's the way you want to do it, and then how many end pegs you need also on top of that. So I'm just using, it says in a lot of knits and purls, I'm just using 1 end peg. So here's my end peg, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, my extra peg, right? And okay, I'm going to count that again. This was not the end peg, this is my one marking peg 1. This is my end peg. I have them marked in purple right there, so that's my end peg, so that doesn't count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 1 extra, and then the end peg. So groups of 4 with 1 extra, and then you have your end pegs. And you can do whatever end you want. So if you want 2 end pegs, just add them on. So now I'm going to mark it for row 1 and 2. Row 1 and 2 are actually the same. So when I mark it, I'm marking it for both row 1 and row 2. Now the pattern for row 1 and 2 is knit 2, purl 1, knit 1, and I'm only going to mark the purls. So we're going to knit 2, purl 1, knit 1, knit 2, purl 1, knit 1, knit 2, purl 1, knit 1. We end with the extra peg, and on row 1 and 2 that extra peg is a knit 1. So now there's our end peg. So now when we come back, here we go. Knit 2, purl 1, knit 1, knit 2, purl 1, knit 1, knit 2, purl 1, knit 1, extra knit 1 here, and then our end peg. So it works out the same when you do row 1 and row 2, so you can leave your markers there for the purls. Rest of the time you knit, and then you need to do the treatment of the end peg, which I'll show you when we get to the other side. You can slip it if you'd like. I'm doing a traditional knit purl edge, and the reason I picked that is I really don't like the slip stitch edge very much. It's a little bit loose, and because there's a lot of knits and purls in here, I would like to have a knit and purl that kind of matches it. But you're welcome to slip it or do any kind of edge that you like with a knit and purl piece. Okay, so now we're going to knit. You can do, you need to do a tighter knit. Don't use E-wrap, use knit of some kind. You can do true knit or U-knit or flat knit. So I'm just going to do a U-knit here, another U-knit. Come to the purl peg. I'm going to do a purl. Now this isn't a beginner stitch, but it's pretty easy. I'm going to lay it out for you so that it's super easy. Almost anyone can do it once they've got a few pieces under their belt. Oh, and I'm going to stop here just for a second because people are going to ask me, what yarn did you use? What loom did you use? So I've got a Bernay yarn. It's a number 6, super bulky, called Plum. Oh, sorry, that's not even the right one. Gee whiz. I'll get it. There it is. It's big yarns. Okay, it's a number 6. It's Bernay Chunky in, let's see if it has a color anywhere. Some kind of a purple. There it is, royal purple. So there it is, Bernay Chunky. I got it at Walmart, so I know it's available there for the USA and Canada. Okay. And the loom is just from the Darice loom set. It's the little green one in the loom. Its gauge is somewhere between 3/4 inch and 5/8 inch when I measure it. So there you go. Should be everything you need to know. And I'm just using removable stitch markers to mark it and then had my ends marked. Okay, so now I've got 3 knits in a row. Now you're going to knit them or do whatever knit you like. I'm just going to flatten it over them loosely, so for me it works out like a U-knit. I just find it faster, but you don't have to do that. You can U-knit every one of them. I'm just flat knitting my knits, and then I'm coming over to my purl. It's really not a flat knit though when I do it. It's a U-knit because I'm loose. And purl. The yarn kind of was splitting on me there, and then I'm going to do my knits really loosely. So just knit over, knit over, knit over, and do a purl. Knit over, and knit over. And then we end up here, and how I'm treating the edges is whenever I'm going that direction, I knit, and on the return, I do a purl on the end peg. And so that's what I'm doing for my end peg, but you don't have to do what I'm doing. Okay, now when we come back, it's going to be knit 2, purl, knit the 3, purl, knit the 3, purl, knit the 2. So I'm going to move this over so I know I'm on row 2. You could use any kind of method to keep track of your rows you like. I like to do it right on the loom. And I'm just going to knit 2, come over, purl the 1, I'm going to knit the 3, purl the 1, knit the 3, purl. So you see, when you mark the pegs like this, it's really not too hard. You might be the kind of person that doesn't have to mark any pegs, but I tell you, I do. Big time. Okay, so now we knit this one because we're going this way. We come over, purl the end peg going the other way. Okay, now we're on row 3. So off come our stitch markers because we're going to be knitting 1 and purling 1 now. So I'm just popping them off. I'm going to put it on pause because I don't want to waste time in the video popping off stitch markers. Okay, so I went ahead and marked the loom for rows 3 and 4. And what we're doing is knit 1, purl 1, 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 and then the extra knit and the end. And that makes it match on both sides. And row 3 and row 4 are the same because when we come back, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1 all the way. So only mark if you have to. I sometimes don't mark when it's like this, but I wanted to mark it to show you. It's actually very easy. Row 3 and 4 are the same now. The extra peg is a knit, and because we started with a knit, both sides are the same. Okay, so now we just knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. So it's really not that hard to do. Knit 1. It's just converting it in a way that it works for a loom. And then understanding helps, because you can see that both sides are always going to be the same, and that extra peg is added so that everything works out. Okay, then I'm going to come over and knit the last peg. On the return, I'm going to do a purl. Now coming back, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to knit and then purl on the marked pegs. So I'm just going to put it on pause and go all the way to the end, because you can see how to do this, and move my marker over to peg 4, because I'm completing peg 4. And I'll meet you when I get to the end of row 4. Okay, so I'm all set up for row 5 and 6, and the pattern for row 5 and 6 is purl 1, knit 3, purl 1, knit 3, purl 1, knit 3, and purl for your last extra peg. So your both sides are the same. They both start with a purl 1. So when we come back, it's purl 1, knit 3, purl 1, knit 3. So let's do that. Purl 1, knit 3, and you can do the U-wrap, or I'm doing the true knit, but I'm doing it loosely. Just keep your tension the same for your knits and purls, and it will look the best. And purl this one. There we go, got it. Purl, I'm going to knit the 3. Purl. So see, wasn't lying. This is really easy to do. It's just a matter of marking for each 2 rows. And as I say, you don't have to mark. I did it because I need it, and I also thought it would help give you an understanding of the conversion. Okay, and there's our knit and then our purl, and we come back doing the same stitch, purl, knit the next 3, and again I'm going to put you on pause because you've already seen me do this. You don't need to watch me knit all the way back. Okay, now for row 7 and 8 of this pattern, it's just knit 1, purl 1, so it's the same as row 3 and 4. Anyway, this is 7 and 8. There's your end peg, knit 1, purl 1, 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 knit 1 for the last one, and then your end peg. When you come back, same thing, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. So you're marked for row 7 and 8. So that's all there is to it. I don't think I have to knit all the way here to show you. That's your 8 rows, and then you start again at row 1 and just do them all the same and go as long as you want. And when you finish off, you want your beginning to match your end. Let's say you're making a scarf, so you're going to end by doing row 1 and 2. So you do all your row 1 to 8 repeats, keep going all the way down. At the end, just do row 1 and 2 again, and then you will look the same on both sides. And if you did do a purl after the cast on, you could do a row of purl before you cast off. That'll just help it all to look alike. I'm going to go ahead for a while and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. And it's too hard to see. You have to do quite a few repeats to see what it looks like. And I may even switch to a different yarn. I don't have very many yarns, so I don't know how well the purple will show up with the pattern, but that is how you do it. And so there you go. That's how you do it. So I will see you in a bit. Okay, so the stitch didn't show at all with that purple thread, really. I tried it with the camera and you really couldn't see it much. So I found I had some charisma, so I did it up. And so it is showing up on the lighter color here. You can see it. It would be, the way I would actually really do this to look the best would be with a worsted weight on a real small gauge. It would really pop up, but it looks okay as a bulky too, if you like that look. So this is Charisma. I don't know what the color is. It's a leftover ball, but it's the one that is shades of gray and a creamy brown and ivory. And so if you look at it this way, you see the lines going up, and this way you can see the lines going up there, and the diamond patterns starting to form. They're just starting. It's still pretty tight up here. But that is how you do the stitch, and this is the look you get. And if you do it, I wish I could do it up on the small gauge loom for you with worsted weight, but all my small gauge looms are already packed. I'm moving and I don't even have any worsted weight. That's all packed up. I only have a few balls of yarn and a couple looms left, and I'm spending most of my time packing and have everything scheduled. But this shows you how to do the stitch and gives you an idea, you know, how it would look bulky, and it would look just like you see the needle knitting ones looking if you use a worsted weight, because I've done it before. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and it helped you to be able to do this stitch. So, okay, until next time, bye.